All right. Well, the establishment is actually they're on their way out the door for the most part. There's still plenty of time for them to screw this whole thing up. And if anything is proof of that, look at what's going on in Ukraine. Like, what in the actual F is happening with that situation? There's nothing short of a direct escalation for nefarious purposes, is what I would guess. Not because they think they're actually going to gain any ground by doing this, or this is going to somehow lead to a total victory. It just makes no sense. So there's that going on. Matt Gaetz did not get selected for the Attorney General because of course, neocons like Mitch McConnell. And there's all this thing going on with this whole thing going on with the Ethics Committee, a complaint that it's actually been already refuted and already investigated and refuted and investigated again. But Matt Gaetz withdraws from that. You got Elon Musk talking about buying MSNBC. You got libs fleeing to blue sky. I mean, it's all kinds of things to talk about. I missed Wednesday because of hunting. Here in Michigan, gun season is a very short season. I have a bow too, so but gun season easier. At least this gun season you can shoot, an antlerless or an antlered deer. So I was out all day Wednesday. Didn't see a single deer. Literally sun up to sundown. Sat in a blind all day. Driving in at like 6 a.m., I saw a bunch of deer. Walking in, I saw a bunch of deer. Sat there, nothing. So I wasted a whole day. Didn't get a podcast done that day. And I apologize for that. And now I have a broken rib. I've done this a few times now, and this sucks. I broke it today, which means by Sunday, it's going to be excruciating. I mean, it's bad when, it's bad the day of, but broken ribs that I've had, I've done 3 of them in the last 2 years. Just doing dumb things. Yeah, it's going to suck. So I don't know how much stamina I'll have to do a podcast on Monday, but we'll see. I was in a rollover car accident back in 2016, broke a bunch of ribs, and then ever since then I've had problems with breaking them again, and just screwing around today, thing just popped again. So it's a rib cartilage and a rib fracture, and rib cartilage fractures are, issues take forever to heal. Ugh, I'm not looking forward to it. It sucks. It's like weeks of just agony. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. They always give you painkillers. I don't like to take that stuff, so I don't know. Maybe it'd be an interesting time, trying to talk. But for now, I think I'll be okay. It's right here up under my, where my heart is, and it hurts already to breathe. Normally, when I break it, the first day, it's like it sucks. I wake up the next morning and it's real bad, but by day 3, it's awful. This one's already kind of awful, so yeah, fun stuff. Anyways, you're not here to hear about my complaints, just trying to give an explanation as to where I've been. Things have been going out writing-wise as they regularly do. If interested in that, check out the links below. Check out my website. All that stuff goes there. So I wanted to talk. I know people are probably sick to death talking about the war in Ukraine. I'm over it, just like everybody else is. It's been a thing for years now. I remember when it first happened, it was exhausting. It was, the propaganda aspect of it, the establishment and the military-industrial complex jumping on board, the media being all aboard that train. It got real old real fast. And I'm sure it's been real old real fast for the people that have to go through the dying that's been going on. And people need to realize what this is like. This is not a war like many of the last 100 years. So World War II, you have the moving fronts. You know, it's big mass movements. On the Eastern Front, there's a lot of static warfare, but it's not like World War I level. So we think of World War II, we think of like, oh, we set an objective, we send our troops on, we take that, onward and onward, right? You see the war progressing. Korea, more of a holding action. Then you get into things like Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, where you don't really have a front. You're trying to fight a war all throughout the country, surrounded by enemies at all times, not knowing who the enemy is. And the objectives of a war like that are not to conquer your enemy, it's to, prop up your allies so they can defend themselves eventually, which never works. So the whole, maybe like the first Gulf War, I guess you could say, was more of a war of like in the traditional sense of what we think of. But this war in Ukraine and Russia is far more akin to World War I than anything else, because it has come down to this point of very little territorial gain. Forces on either side have basically become entrenched. Russian forces, I know, have been entrenched. So, and last summer, Ukraine decided to do it. It was a massive offensive. Now, depending on numbers, it's hard to get an accurate number on anything that happens over there. According to some estimates, there was believed to be about 350,000 to 400,000 Ukrainian troops that, remember, this push into Russia, into Kiev. Is that what it's called? Kiev, I'm thinking. Yeah. I was thinking, because in World War II, Kiev was that massive, a couple massive battles, but not Kiev, it's Kursk. What am I thinking of? I think it's Kiev, right? Where the Russians are, I don't know. I'm a military historian, so my head is just jam-packed full of random battle names. A lot of them sound the same. But yes, so anyway, you have this going on where Ukraine launches this massive offensive that doesn't go anywhere. It's largely a failure. Forgive me. It's Kursk, which is during World War II, there were some major battles. The battles of Kursk. And some of the battles in World War II at Kursk were among the bloodiest battles on the Eastern Front. Just an aside, I guess, in case you're interested at all, but hundreds of thousands of casualties on both sides. I have a cat hissing, sorry. I swear, I sit down to do anything, and it's just cat chaos in here. In case you're not aware, I've been fostering a little kitten. She's made an appearance in the videos a few times. I'm sure she'll pop in here at some point, but my perma cats, I have 3 cats that permanently live with me. I do fosters all the time. So my 3, full-time cats. One of them does not like her, but he likes to be in here while I record. Problem is, she can squish under the doors, so she insists in being here too, and he will sit there and hiss and growl for the entire time I do this. So I'm playing musical cats. Oh, she's in here now. Hey. Come here. Oh. Check this out. Here she is. If you think she's adorable. And she deserves a like and a subscribe and a share, then you should do that, because she's a precious little thing. And she's got to find a new home soon, right? But it's fun doing fosters. The only thing is you get attached to them. Like, she's just so great. Anyways, back to Kursk. So the Ukrainians have they've gone into there. They had their offensive in 2023. Things are just stagnant. Not a whole lot's happening. So you're talking a massive offensive in 2023. Excuse me. Oh, my ribs hurt so bad. Ukraine recaptured 14 villages in a 6-month offensive. Overall deemed a Ukrainian operational failure. This is according to Wikipedia. I don't really have a whole lot of like official sources here or academic stuff, but massive numbers of troops moving and casualties. Russia, or let's see, according to claims made by the Russians, they lost over 90,000 casualties, 600 tanks, 1,900 armored vehicles during the offensive. Awful stuff. From a 21st century perspective, we haven't seen a war of this magnitude at all, really. And there have been larger conflicts since World War II, but this is one of the biggest ones. And I guess we can't really wrap our heads around just the catastrophic loss going on over there. The amount of people and material and everything that's just getting churned up in the meat grinder over there. It's time for this thing to end. It's got to be near this just can't go on forever. And I guess I kind of wanted to address this because when I wrote the newsletter the other day, Biden had approved Ukrainian use of American missiles, basically to launch them deep into Russia. And that happened. And it's very odd timing because the election was just weeks ago. Trump wins the election. And there's immediately this kind of energy flowing out there that, hey, maybe we can finally end this thing. Zelensky says the best chance we have at ending this war is through Trump. And there's all that type of buzz going on. And things seem like that could be a reality. This is something that America's given so much money to this conflict. So many Ukrainians have just had their lives torn up by this thing. And, in Russia, they're not making a whole lot of ground. So it's like, what's the end game here? Things have kind of stagnated. And then weeks removed from the election, you have this move by the Biden administration to ramp things up. Why? Why is this happening? Now, before people jump down my throat and say, well, Russia attacked Ukraine, why should they capitulate? Like, I understand your point. Okay? I understand it's hard, oops, sorry, I'm trying to pull up my browser here to show it to you. I understand it's hard. I can't put myself in a position. Oh, come on, really? Sorry, I gotta pull this back up. So annoying. I can't put myself in a position to really understand what's going on over there because I'm not there. So it's hard for me to say one way or the other. But what I can gather is, come on, dude. Here we go. From what I can gather, there's not a whole lot of progress being made on either side to the point where escalating things makes a whole lot of sense. And when I say that, I'm really talking about, we have to ask ourselves why this was approved. And was this approved because, like, Russia is on the brink of a complete victory? Or Ukraine's on the brink of a complete victory? If the answer is no for both sides, then what's the point? Because an escalation of this conflict will not mean more men and women getting thrown into the fray on ground actions. It will mean more and more deadly weapons are going to be used. And to what end? Because a negotiation is the only way this thing's going to end, in my opinion. This is a region of the world where fighting is exceedingly difficult, and it has been historically a very hard place to fight a war. These regions are, if you're not done by winter, you're screwed with your offensives and things like that. And we're coming on 3 years now, which is hard to believe. We're in our third year of this conflict, and almost on our third year of this conflict. And how many, probably hundreds of thousands of people have lost their lives in a conflict of this magnitude, and you have to wonder, why ramp it up now? I don't think it's because victory is imminent for either side. There's some ulterior motive here that's based on someone's interests, I would imagine. It does seem like a big middle finger to the American people who voted for Trump. Hey, have fun dealing with this problem on your way out. The establishment got rejected outright, and the establishment has been the war machine. What happened in the 1960s was the Democratic Party split into different factions, one of which being the New Left. And the New Left was anti-war. That's where you get the neocons from. The neocons split off. They wanted to continue fighting their pointless wars. So, they wanted to push back against the Soviet Union. So the neocons split off and became a conservatives, group. But then they are now the Democrats again. But the New Left became the anti-war party. And this kind of has that feel with the Republican Party now that it's far more anti-war. And the establishment doesn't like that. Because since the end of World War II, war has been the way for this country. War has been the way to expand and hold empire. It has been the way to negotiate, to manipulate, to establish itself as the global superpower. We are most of our allies, we provide the majority of military support for. That's intentional because that gives you a lot of power over these countries. Because we need to have the American empire. This is a problem. This is something that we need to have. Now, when it comes to the whole allies thing, well, shouldn't we be shouldn't we be there to defend our allies and be there to protect them? To a degree, yes. But, we're also talking about a conflict that has a very iffy origin, okay? When Tulsi Gabbard said that there may be more to this than just Putin is insane why he invaded Ukraine, he may have done this because, he's, fearful of other, American and allied powers impeding on his borders. And this thing was kind of needlessly escalated. So you have to wonder, I have another cat wanting to come in here. Good, my goodness. 1 second. So yes, you need to defend your allies, but it's also like this thing could have been handled in a smarter way or dealt with differently, So, yes, supporting allies means, for the United States, a lot of times that means supporting proxy wars and regime change wars and all types of things that we like to play God in a way. So yes, I don't have an issue with, if allies need to defend themselves and they need some of our help, that's fine. But when the United States of America is largely dictating what happens in in a conflict like this, I just feel like it's like what are we supposed to think as Americans about this? You're telling us that Ukraine is this great democratic power, but this is a country that now has basically gotten rid of democracy due to this emergency. And they have been ruthless when it comes to censorship and things like that. So it's kind of hard to sell American people on this. But anyways, here's this was kind of a thread I saw on X the other day. Where did it go? Here we go. So it's I don't know who this person is. Oliver Gia or something. This is a a tweet. I guess we can still call them tweets. Being called a warmonger by libertarians and paleocons carries as much meaning as me being called racist by leftists. Meaningless buzzwords used by simpletons who have no other response to when someone points out the flaws of their naive and extremely reductive worldview. I study international relations for a living. My field of expertise is Japan-North Korea relations. Because North Korea has played a key role in Russia's actions, by extension, I've had to keep up with the war in Ukraine. I didn't learn about these topics yesterday. The idea that I'm a warmonger for believing that Ukraine has every right to defend itself and the West should support it against Russian aggression is ludicrous. It's an insult to my intelligence that I need to even address this accusation. No patience for this tripe. This person here says, I don't want to consider anyone who military supports the West supporting Ukraine to be a warmonger, but you can at least admit that the new escalations that are happening right before the new administration is going to settle the war are not productive at all. He says, this person says, settle the war. The best Trump will do is turn the current conflict into a frozen one that will inevitably restart one day. There's no peace with Russia. So what is this person implying here? You sound an awful lot like you're pushing for a destruction of Russia. Because what else is your alternative there? And, okay, I know libertarians call me a warmonger or whatever. Okay, fine. You're not a warmonger. But what's your solution here? Because you're saying if they try to settle the war, this is going to turn into a frozen conflict because Russia is inevitably going to restart it one day. So what's the alternative? The alternative is to continue the war until Russia is forced to capitulate. And it's like, this guy says, oh, I study the international relations for a living. I have to keep up on what Russia's doing and things like that. It's like, do you understand that Russia has the world's largest nuclear arsenal, period? And Russia historically will continue to fight a war until its population is virtually, they will not run out of people. So studying international relations is great, but also you should study military history, because the way Russia operates, man, is, they will grind it out. World War I, they capitulated because of the revolution, but I guess really look at World War II, like, that's the kind of thing that Russia would be up against. If you wanted to keep fighting that war, who do you think is going to last longer? Well, eventually, Ukraine runs out of resources, runs out of fighters, runs out of money. And that means that the United States of America is supposed to foot the bill for that and put bodies on the ground. Okay? I guess this whole thing is like, okay, well, if America does that, what is America getting out of this war? Oh, that Russia will be ousted from Ukraine? Well, you just said it's a frozen conflict. So let's say the United States successfully shoves Russia out of Ukraine. And Ukraine is freed. That's the end of the war. Isn't Russia going to eventually just reinvade Ukraine then? I understand it's a very tough thing to wrap your head around, but are you asking the United States of America to foot the bill, send people to die there, risk a nuclear war for something that's just going to inevitably restart one day? If that's the case, then you have one option, and that's going to be a complete annihilation of Russia and a removal of its current government, which is not going to happen. They're not going to let that happen. You know why? Because they have weapons that could annihilate Europe. I don't want the war to restart one day, but I also don't want nuclear annihilation to happen. And what you're talking about is the United States of America would have to get involved. So they would fight a ground war that would inevitably escalate to nukes, probably, for both sides. Like, I don't have a problem with Ukraine defending itself. But what I have a problem with is this war going on for eternity, because it's going to. Ukraine just can't sit there slugging it out until the end of days. Because Russia will hold their spot and they will not give up territory. And if they do eventually, then what? You're saying they're just going to restart the conflict and they'll end up invading Ukraine again anyways. I think at this point, with the number of people that have died, I think, quote unquote, settling the war as you have a problem with is the way to go. Because you're either talking full-blown total war with Russia for what reason, and or a negotiation. And the thing with the Ukrainian conflict, it's this idea that Putin is just the problem. He will never capitulate. But it's also like, there's also more to this than just someone is deranged. And there's something strategic about this to Russia. And it's not because Russia has aims to conquer all of Europe. Russia can't conquer Ukraine. I do hear a lot of people say, well, then they're going to take Poland and they're going to take, Europe. It's like, you really think that's ever on the table and that's going to happen? It's just, you need to understand how conflicts work, because I just don't see them having their sights set on a complete conquering of Europe. And does Russia want to challenge the United States hegemony? Probably. Because why the hell, they probably think, well, why the hell should the United States be the top dog all the time? Who gives them the right to boss everybody around? And that's been the way Russia's thought about the United States for a very long time now, dating back to the Soviet Union. So I don't understand this take where, I'll show it to you again just one more time. This take is just, it's like, I don't think it's a slam dunk this guy thinks it is. Now, I understand your point saying, you're a warmonger because, by libertarians is just as meaningless as being called a racist by leftists. I get that, but you do come across as like you're actively supporting this indefinite conflict that will either end in total annihilation for one of the nations or a full-blown NATO, / United States of America involvement. And in case this person is not aware, the United States of America is not poised to go in there and handle a major conflict like this. There's a reason why they haven't directly been involved. They don't have boots on the ground. They've been giving them lots of weapons and money. But that's because our military isn't really that top notch. Yeah, we spend a lot of money on our military, but I doubt I hardly doubt that we can go in and just handle this conflict like it's nothing when we're involved in so many other things worldwide. We shouldn't be involved in crap worldwide. And I understand you don't want to be called a warmonger, but at some point, like, can we at least understand that people are dying? Lots and lots of people are dying. This is going to continue to happen. People are going to continue to die until this war ends. And for what? If there's a negotiation and things end, and let's say that the United States says, okay, we're not going to put missiles on your border, is that going to be enough for Russia? Well, only time will tell. But to say that this is just, it's inevitable that Russia is just going to start things up again, okay, that's a reason to continue to fight it until Russia's wholly defeated? That's a very dangerous game you're playing, especially with somebody with a pretty large nuclear arsenal. There is no peace with Russia. It's like, okay, I guess, you know, Russia fought plenty of proxy wars during the 20th century after World War II. They had their war in Afghanistan. But a full-blown, like, you know, war in a European nation like this, it's hardly safe to say that this is just the status quo. And I just have a hard time accepting this logic that, like, oh, there's no peace with Russia. We just need to keep things in here. Otherwise it'll just start up again. How are you so sure? Because you follow North Korea? Okay. I don't really have a problem with your take that you don't think you're a warmonger, sure. But I think continuing this war endlessly and needlessly is just kind of futile and pointless and costly. And you know what? It's easy to say because the United States of America is going to be the one stuck paying for it. We have a lot of our own problems to deal with. Our own military sucks. And if this thing can come to an end, it needs to come to an end. We're coming on year 3 with little progress on either side, other than an obscene amount of people killed. So, all right, I'll leave it at that. But I'm just saying, right now, the Biden administration's doing seems like a big middle finger to the people that voted out the establishment. They seem like they have a vested interest in escalating this war. You need to ask yourself why. What do they stand to gain? And do I think for 1 second that Joe Biden is the one escalating this war? No. I don't think Joe Biden has a hand in anything. This has the deep state and the establishment written all over it. I think they would love nothing more than to be able to topple Putin, but like, you're saying that your allies have a right to defend themselves. I think in that case, Putin would feel like he has a right to defend himself. All right. Oh man, so many things. Sorry about that tangent there. It's just kind of, I'm struggling to grasp what the hell is going on over there. It seems incredibly dangerous, incredibly stupid, and just the push to continue to fight it forever. I just don't get it. I don't grasp why. Maybe there's something I'm not getting. I don't study international relations or whatever like that guy does for a living. All right. So many things. So Matt Gaetz was not confirmed as the Attorney General, which is disappointing, shocking. I guess, okay, disappointing, but not shocking. And a lot of speculation was surrounding this ethics committee report. The whole thing seems very, very much a political hit job, because he was investigated for this and cleared by the Department of Justice. No criminal charges were ever brought. There's allegations that he had slept with a 17-year-old back in 2017, and there was a witness, someone who owned the house that he did it at. Excuse me. Oh, my ribs are so bad. There was a witness there, and he did it with some other woman, and the woman denies it. Anyway, so they went through the first investigation. Nothing was found. Nothing to charge him with. The person that testified against him, that was the person that was, that had slept with him, is under some type of protective order. So, or like some type of, they can't really speak out because of some agreement they have. And people were pushing for the release of this ethics report, even though it was illegal to release it, and Matt Gaetz had already stepped down from Congress. And a hacker magically, I know, crazy, right? That a hacker magically hacked the file and released it partially, and it sounded just like a recap of all the stuff we'd already heard about this topic. Okay, well, you just nosedived onto me. Kittens are crazy. I don't know if you can see him there, but No. Not really in the shop, but that's Smaug. Smaug the dragon. He's my blue Russian cat. Big fuzzy blue Russian. What's crazy because in the wintertime, I have 2 domestic short hairs and a Russian blue. One would think the Russian blue would be all about the cold. He's the biggest baby about the cold, and he has to sleep under the blankets with you at night. But he doesn't like it. He's he's a foster fell from my last batch of foster kittens. I can't do it again. I can't foster fail again. So Matt Gaetz, that whole story is partially the reason why he gets, partially it's the buzz surrounding it, the smoke. That's part of why he said I don't want to be a distraction. Come to find out, there are certain people that could have let Matt Gaetz. Sorry, I'm so bad at this, everybody. I'm trying to pull up my thing here. While I'm doing this, you should follow me on X. I am on there all the time doing so many fun things. It's crazy how my account will go. It's like the amount of bot followers I get, it's insane. Like, I don't have a lot of followers, so I get up to like 400, and then it'll drop down by like 70. And it's because I just constantly get bot followers. It's very annoying. So you should follow me and give me a real follow. Link below. All right, here we go. If it'll load. Are you gonna load? Let's go. From the post-millennial. But they are the 4 senators that did not support Matt Gaetz' nomination as Attorney General. Matt Gaetz says, Turtle Man himself. Matt Gaetz on Thursday withdrew as President-elect Donald Trump's pick for U.S. What is this? Bold and beautiful celebs perfecting transparent. Really? Go away. Why is that popping up? Matt Gaetz on Thursday withdrew as President-elect Donald Trump's pick for U.S. Attorney General. Said that the decision came after meeting with senators the day prior and said that his confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical... All right, I'm about to do something else here. I got an idea. I'll put it up on Brave because I'm sick of this pop-up ad garbage. One sec. That ground news thing there, by the way, I signed up for it. And it's interesting because it is nice. It does tell you where there's a bias, where there's a blind spot is what they call it. Like one side of the political aisle doesn't cover something, and then they give you like kind of a trustworthiness report when it comes to different organizations and stuff. But it's like, I don't know. It seems like what they consider factually correct is pretty biased to the left. Like it has like most right-wing sites, it seems like, are mixed factuality or low factuality, and it'll have like CNN as very high factually. I'm sure they base their ratings off of other rating agencies that are favorable to the left. But okay, so here, maybe we don't get stupid pop-ups. All right. Here are the 4 senators that did not support Matt Gaetz' nomination as AG. So you have John Curtis of Utah, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. He told his people close to him, those were the people that would not confirm him, and Gaetz told confidence he did not want to get in a protracted confirmation battle and delay Trump from getting his AG in place. Apparently, Mitch McConnell said that it was a hard no. That guy is such... Dude, he's such a joke. Let's see here. Lisa Murkowski is the Republican senator for Alaska. Cool. I can't, dude. This is exactly the problem with the Republican Party. Honestly, like these old school, like Bush era Republicans, which they might as well be Democrats, are the problem. I mean, like, this is what's been going on in the Republican Party for years. When the Republican Party would have a numerical advantage, they would not take advantage of it. No, stupid way to say that. They would not take advantage of the numerical advantage because they are establishment people that they just want to play ball with the uniparty. The uniparty is king to these people. And so you have, so Curtis was elected in November with the 62.5% of the vote to Democrat Caroline Gleitch's 31.8%. And then Collins has been in the Senate since 97, Murkowski in office since 2002, and McConnell since 1985. I mean, McConnell is a Reagan-era senator. And I just think McConnell is probably corrupt. And he's probably deeply connected to the establishment. And it's awful. It's a real problem. And, I'm sure he feels guilty because when he tried to eat Merry and Pippin in Lord of the Rings, too. You can't tell me that does not look like Mitch McConnell. Look at that face. Look at it. He was told that he was not supposed to eat the hobbits, and he tried to. But, this is a guy who's just he's been awful. And I don't understand who elects these people. I don't understand how Mitch McConnell keeps getting reelected. The problem is it's like, he's an incumbent wherever the hell he is, and he's in Kentucky, I think. They probably just slap him on the ballot. He's been there forever. He's always the given, and people want to vote for the Republican senator in his state. But this guy has been a hindrance to so many things, and he's just, he's such a politician. I know all of them are. I'm not trying to sound like a naive idiot, but it's just, he's this kind of guy who, like, when McConnell got reelected in 2020, it was like he was all about Trump. And then when Trump didn't get reelected, he just turned on him. It was no longer politically expedient for him to be a Trump supporter. And I'm a Republican, I'm more of a free market kind of guy. Like, yeah, okay, bro. He's not about Trump's tariffs to China because he's about the free market. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's married to the daughter of one of China's biggest shipping magnates, but that's neither here nor there. But this is the problem. These people right here on your thing, okay? Do. These people right here are the reason why the Republican Party gets nothing accomplished. People like Mitt Romney, like, these people are the problem. And this is why the Republican Party sucks and doesn't ever get anything done. And you need to keep this in mind if you live in one of these states where these people are from. I know McConnell's not running again, but they have to go. Because the American people gave this new regime, this new Trump administration, they were given a mandate by the American people. This was a demand for change, a demand to ditch the establishment, a demand for accountability from our government, for our government. And Matt Gaetz, as the choice, was supposed to be that guy. He was going to go in and handle the DOJ. They were freaking out about this pick. The left was, the Democrats were, the media, the neocons. It was perfect. And the Department of Justice has been so just overtly corrupt, and the government overreach has been egregious. You have all these things, and And you have a guy that could have come in and just cleaned it out because it needs to happen. Like, you're talking, you have 4 years to do this. Or the future will continue to be more like this. What you're seeing right now, that will be the future unless something is done immediately. And like if Kamala Harris had won and we continued this status quo, man, what a mess. You're talking censorship, social media censorship, mis and disinformation censorship. You're talking globalism, super woke leftist policies, more regulation, more corrupt bureaucrats. And this was the opportunity to get rid of that. And of course, you have these people here, and this is your problem. They have to go. And I think there's this Trump thing, there's a golden opportunity here that needs to be handled properly, or else this was all for nothing. So of course now Gaetz is gone, and the question surrounds what's he going to do next. There's talk of him potentially taking Marco Rubio's Senate seat, which who knows, that may or may not happen. And his congressional seat, I think they're going to do another election there. His wife said that he's likely done with Congress. I'm assuming Congress is a very frustrating and annoying thing to work in when you are a person that actually has conservative principles, that you want to see the size of government trimmed down. You want to hold government accountable. You want to see the American people go first. I'm sure that Congress is a soul-sucking and crushing place to be. So, I don't know. I'd be out of there too. I could never do a day of politics. Like, I don't know how Thomas Massey does it. Great congressman, but futile. So now with Gaetz out of the picture, we are on to this Pete Hegseth guy and Tulsi Gabbard. And I saw Nikki Haley going on and on about how Tulsi Gabbard's the problem. And it's like, man, but why? Can somebody please tell me why these establishment people think that they're the experts still? And it's like John Bolton. When John Bolton saw that Matt Gaetz was picked for the AG, and Tulsi Gabbard, he immediately called for the director of national intelligence. He immediately called for the FBI to investigate them. For what? For no reason other than they need to be punished. The FBI needs to punish them for stepping on the toes of the deep state. And that's a terrible pick. It's a terrible pick. Like John Bolton, dude. Like, your mustache, it's weak mustache game. Okay, but why does he get to still be the expert? Like, they were just soundly rejected. They've actually been rejected before, and this time it's like, no, we're really done with you, because Biden was supposed to be the return to normalcy. The grown-ups were back in charge. Biden gets his shot, and it's like, oh, we don't like this anymore. The establishment thing doesn't work for us. And so they get rejected again. But somehow these experts, like I saw, Bill Kristol had a huge, if you guys don't know who these people are, look them up. John Bolton, Bill Kristol, Project for the New American Century, Iraq, Afghanistan, ring any bells? They were instrumental in us getting involved in what they called the Forever Wars. And they screwed up the 21st century for the United States of America. They're key pieces in that. So why in the hell did they think they still get a say? Like, why should we listen to you ever? Well, I wouldn't do it that way. Well, good. Then we should definitely do it. Do it that way. Because whatever is opposite of the way they would do something, we need to do that. I just don't understand how they get to still always be the expert. That makes no sense to me. Their days of being the expert are over. Like this idea that somehow like they're these like smug intellectual types that just know how to do everything that the the non-political elites, the peasant class doesn't know how to do things properly. It's like, well, you guys had your shot and you destroyed it. You were terrible on everything. You got us involved in just decades of war and spending and in government overreach and in expansion of government surveillance and all this stuff. And you could just somehow be the expert. And they're going after Tulsi Gabbard big time, and Pete Hegseth, because of Pete Hegseth allegedly like slept with a married woman or something, and the whole story is kind of like he was trashed and she wasn't, and she then turned around and like she was at something with her husband, I believe, and ended up sleeping with Pete Hegseth anyways, and then turned around and said that he drugged her. I don't know, the whole thing is weird. Go read it yourself. I don't like doing gossipy drama things, but just sounds like gossipy drama stuff. But you're going to see it now. They are going to come hard, especially after I'm not going to say that. Especially after seeing Tulsi Gabbard, they're going to go after her big time, because look at what she did. Look what happened to her. She was put on a terror watch list. This is a veteran, because she was averse to the deep state's obsession with war. And what happened was she said that Putin and Russia may have had other qualms aside from him being a homicidal psycho dictator, that he might have, been pushing back against NATO expansion. And they said that she was a Russian asset, that she was a Russian propagandist, that she was parroting Kremlin talking points. It's like anything that runs counter to the establishment narrative is you come up with some term for it. You're an anti-vaxxer. You're espousing mis and disinformation. You're a Putin apologist, a Russian agent. It's really amazing how childish they are in their thinking. They're very binary in thinking too. It's like it's dangerous to go against the government narrative. But meanwhile, that same government is escalating things in this war for no reason. So you go ahead and watch. Things are going to ramp up big time when it comes to dealing with Tulsi Gabbard and Pete Hegseth. And good. That I'm glad that these people are stirring enough of a pot to freak out the establishment and the deep state. That's what we all should want. You should be begging this to happen. Like, yes, I'm here for it all. I'm here for all of it. So there is I'm going to put my bookmarks here. There's rumors that Elon was considering buying MSNBC. Let me put this on Brave so I don't get more stupid pop-ups. Von Second. So annoying. I keep getting ground news ads. There we go. All right, so Elon Musk eyes possible purchase of floundering MSNBC from Comcast. He might be adding MSNBC to his media portfolio. He floated the idea of purchasing the struggling cable network on X in response to a suggestion by Donald Trump Jr. He had an idea for a show. It was like Don at Dawn. Someone said, sorry, my rib. I mean, like muscle spasms. Dawn's Earlier Light was a potential show name. But MSNBC has completely floundered following the election, as it should have. I mean, what a joke. And the NBC, Musk Broadcast Corporation. And it was something I saw a thing that Rachel Maddow is to take it's like a $5 million pay cut. And I'm sure she was getting paid a crazy amount of money. Let's just see. What is Rachel Maddow's contract with MSNBC? This may just be. So yeah, look at. She signed a new contract, taking a $5 million a year pay cut. She's still getting paid $25 million a year. So she was getting paid $30 million a year before. For what? Like, tell me. What is MSNBC's ratings even like? Let's see. I don't know. Let's just say like 2022. Primetime lineup averaged 684,000 total viewers and 65,000 in the key demo. So 684,000 for their primetime lineup. This is from Brave AI. I don't know. You can fact check this yourself. Sounds like it should be accurate though. So even 2022, it's like there are YouTube channels that do better than that those people are not getting paid $30 million a year. And I know there's always been this dispute with Rachel Maddow, like she would sporadically work like a limited number of days, and I don't really understand the draw of her at all. I'm not into that propaganda stuff. She's been an outright liar, and it's amazing she's going to take a $5 million a year pay cut, still make $25 million a year to do what? Who's going to watch this garbage? That's what's so satisfying about this is the future. The future is nobody watches that trash anymore. And nobody should. Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski went over and groveled in front of Trump, and it was like, you guys literally were calling him Hitler, calling him a fascist, calling his supporters Nazis, saying you could not compromise with a guy like Trump, and then you go over there to talk to him to try to compromise, and Trump gives them a 15th chance, of course, which is so annoying. Like, no, these people don't deserve it, because it's not even just a slight to you, it's a slight to the people that support you, and also the fact that, they pushed people to the point of psychotic breaks, including somebody who tried to, take care of the problem himself. Which I would assume that's what happened there. But you're going to give them another chance. Whatever. That's beside the point. But you're watching a great moment in history where mainstream media is floundering in the only possible way they will be able to survive is to become more bipartisan, to become more, to actually become more neutral. Because if they want to survive, that's the only possible way. CNN, MSNBC, I know NBC was trying to divulge himself from MSNBC, and look at what happened with like the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos says, "I'm no longer going to just endorse a candidate for the left. I don't want to be just biased." LA Times, like, the future is not in Democrat partisanship anymore. 10 years ago, I guess not 10 years ago now, 7 years ago, telling people you were a Trump supporter was a thing that people would like hide and they didn't want to admit that to anybody. Telling people you were a conservative, even a libertarian, like people were like ashamed to say these things because culture dictated that if you wanted to be accepted, you had to be a leftist or a Democrat. You had to hate Trump. You had to, if you were a young person and you like wanted to fit in, you had to be a leftist. Those days are over. And it's a huge change in the culture, a huge change in America, a huge change in the trajectory of things, because I think it would be very, very difficult for the left to have their complete takeover like they did. They had their shot and they blew it. They're going to have to change if they want to have a shot at not really dominating the culture again, but at least even having an equal share. I think people are going to be done with the garbage. Done with the lies. They've seen how destructive it can be. They know they're being lied to, like they're not stupid, and they're done. And I think that the ideological capture of the left is going to slowly dissipate, because the only way to survive is to, you don't have to become more conservative, just become centrist. You're seeing this with like, with X. This is kind of what I wanted to talk about with the Blue Sky thing. Blue Sky is bragging about the tens of millions of people that have flooded over there. And I was reading an article. It was whoever runs Blue Sky was saying like, it's your safe little corner of your world. And it's like, that's called an echo chamber. People are flooding there because they're losing, because they lost. And they no longer feel like they're the mainstream. They are being rejected outright, and they feel like they need a place to go because they've been so indoctrinated they can't let go of those views now. So they went to their echo chamber. Now, back in 2020, when Trump lost the election, and I don't know if you remember, there was the whole when he got booted off Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff, there was an exodus of conservatives to new sites. They always say, go start your own YouTube, go start your own Facebook or whatever. Rumble came about, which is way bigger now. But you saw that happen with, they started sites like Getter, Gab, Parler, Truth. I know Minds picked up for a little bit. But that just became an echo chamber. Like Getter and stuff, these were big sites for, Parler got shut down basically by big tech collusion. But what happened with like Getter and stuff is like they had a huge following, and eventually everybody just went back to X. I know Elon bought it, but even before then, people were kind of like, this is the echo chamber thing is not a whole lot of fun for people. I think that it's a nice support structure, but overall, if you leave a social media platform on the basis of politics and you join another one on the basis of politics, the whole time, your whole experience on that site is going to be about politics. Now Blue Sky works kind of like, if you use No Stir or something like that, you can kind of pick what you see. Like you can choose your interactions, and whatever you interact with, that's what will show up in your feed. It's a far more personalized type deal than an actual algorithm that like just shows you random crap. But it's flooded with leftist crap now. And I think that like you're going to get tired of seeing that all day, every day. It's just going to be you with a bunch of your liberal friends whining and crying together, and nobody's going to care about your other liberal friends. Like, you're not going to take things over again. You're not going to fix your ideology. You're not going to win again if you just hide in your own corner. Now, the difference was with conservatives is they were not just being, bullied. It was that they were being literally censored and shadow banned. And like I said, 6-7 years ago, being a conservative online was a guaranteed way to get your account basically shut down. Like my Facebook, I'm a libertarian. I post like libertarian stuff, or I mainly just like bash the government, the economy. It's like the stuff I care about. I'm anti-censorship. Like those are my big things. And none of that stuff ever sees the light of day. And I kind of think that's what's going on with, with a lot of those platforms. And it was just like, that's far different than the treatment the left is getting. The people on the left, they're not being shadow banned. They just have to see a different viewpoint, and they can't handle that. So they left. And it's really funny. If you go check out Blue Sky for 10 seconds, you don't even need an account. You can just see the feed, like a feed. Go look at it. It's pretty mind-blowing. It is very much leftist liberal horse crap. And it is a place for them to all get together and have a happy life there. Congratulations. Like, is this the divide that happens? People were always talking about like civil war. Maybe it's just this fake world we live in, which is the internet. Maybe that's the divide. They live in their little country, we live in ours. I don't know. But I just can't imagine that Blue Sky will just continue to dominate because of all the Democrats and leftists that are flooding to there and the celebrities and stuff. Because you're literally the culture and the country that everybody just rejected. Like, people said they're done with you, but you want to continue that thing on your own place. That's great. Go do that. But we're not going to miss you. And it's not like we're jealous that you have your echo chamber. But I do think it's funny because I can assure you that it won't be fun for very long when all you do is log in and see crap about politics. It gets really old. Like, I did those sites for a while, some of the alternative sites, and it was like, this is all people talk about. At least on X, I can see things about sports and history and writing and books and movie. It's like there's so many different things on there. You don't have to just do politics. We're a site like Getter and Gab. It was just like, that's all we talk about. So, I do think that this is a thing that's worth monitoring to see how people react eventually, if they will go back to X. They hate Elon Musk. They hate him. And the hate happened well before Elon Musk supported Donald Trump. They hated Elon Musk as soon as he stopped censoring opinions they don't like. That was the issue. They liked X better, Twitter at the time, when there was mass censorship on there. And they didn't have to see things they don't like. And that's what it comes down to. They don't want to live in a society where they have to see things they disagree with because they're right about everything. And it pisses them off that since they're right about everything, that they have to watch other people be wrong. It's a smug attitude, and this is what they think. They think they are just right about everything. I say this, like the hypocritical thing. It's always, people always want to go, why are they so hypocritical? The left is so hypocritical. They don't care about being hypocritical because in their mind, they just know they're right. It's okay to subvert democracy and basically topple democracy to save democracy. Like, that sounds absurd, but it's because with them in charge, democracy is safe, and you should take away you should take away democracy so that way democracy can never be taken away from the people that want to support democracy. And in their minds, that's perfectly okay because they know that if anybody else has it, it'll be ruined because they're right about everything. That's the world you live in now, where they want their own corner of the world because they can't look at opinions that they just know they're wrong. And the partisanship thing is really mind-blowing. I'm seeing people that they're cutting out families and family members and friends because of, political differences. And I understand why some people may be so insane to do this. It's because when you see, if you're a Democrat and you see a friend or family member vote for Donald Trump, a lot of them are assuming that you're supporting a Nazi and a fascist and the evil person, and only somebody evil could support a person like that, right? And a lot of people look at like their Democrat friends, and you want to censor me, you want to lock me up, you want my you don't want me to have my liberty and my freedom. You're a threat to me. Like, how could you support something like that? And it's like we need to step away from that and realize that the other pole of the political spectrum is not nearly as bad as the media or our echo chamber makes them out to be. And if you are willing to completely alienate family and friends because of political beliefs, then that is what you call a cult. That is not just politics. And we got to get out of this cult-like mindset when it comes to this stuff. Having echo chambers is very unhealthy. The free market of ideas that was supposed to be the United States of America, needs to happen for progress, needs to happen for civility, needs to happen for us to overcome our differences, and for us to actually make America a great country. We can't do that without a free market of ideas, and that means opinions we like and don't like. And I think that a big issue is like online, we want to react with the most extreme possible take on the opposing side. And, I'm guilty of this to a degree. I cannot stand the government at all. The government, the media, like I go hard, and I just assume that they're out to destroy everything. That may not be right, but it's easy to overreact to things. And I think people need to stop doing that because it's a real problem. So, all right, I'm going to cut this video here. My ribs are throbbing. If you do want to help me out here, like my video, subscribe to my channel, share it with people. I talk about things like this: politics, news, history. I have a history, Civil War medicine podcast coming out. First episode should be out this week. I'm covering first. I'm going to give it an overview of Civil War medicine, but also I'm going to cover the Mexican-American War and the Crimean War as it pertains to Civil War medicine. So if that sounds like something you would like, because I need to do some history stuff, because sometimes just living in this world of politics and news gets really old, and as a historian, I escape by studying history. So I want to do this, and if that sounds like something you might be interested in, I will put that up as soon as it's ready. I have been working on proper script for it. It will not be just stream of consciousness like this show tends to be. It'll be more organized. And if you like that idea, check back. It should be up soon. And so, just FYI, I've been putting in about 70 hours a week on my ventures, which is writing and podcasting and content creating and working on my history stuff. And I make no money. And I have a wife in med school. I am a recent PhD grad. Like, I have no money. I have a family. I got to make a living. So what I'm going to do is a lot of my Civil War medicine content may go behind a paywall. So you may get like a chunk of it, and the rest may go behind like a paywall because I got to make a living somehow. I won't make it very expensive, but if you want to check that out when it comes out, I'll offer free previews of stuff. But if it sounds like something you may be interested in, check the website, historyonaWhim.com. This show and all of my stuff pertaining to it goes up on there too. That's historyonaWhim.com/join-or-die, all one word, no comma. That's like where you can see my articles, my blog posts, like I post the links to videos. Check that out if you want to, and check there for history content because more is coming. I haven't done a whole lot in probably since the summer, but I got a lot more coming because I miss doing it, and it's just I gotta make money, so that's my hope. That'll make me money. But in the meantime, have a great weekend. I don't think I'll be back till Monday, Lord willing, with my rib that I broke today. that it will not feel too terrible, but I know like usually like day 3, 4, 5 of rib breaks is the worst. So wish me luck.